Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, Artist to Artist, a conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. I'm really excited about our guest tonight, someone that used to be my former boss. Played with her many, many times, and she's amazing flautist, composer, arranger, and all around great person. Please join me in welcoming to the show Miss Sherry Winston.
Well, Dion, wasn't that wonderful? I didn't know you thought that highly of me. That's fantastic.
It's good
I
to see
wouldn't,
you.
well, you too, and I would never call myself your boss. I would say that I'm your fellow musician. That's how I always consider myself.
I know, but I just had to throw that out there. We've had so much fun making music, and when I get on the bandstand with whoever it is that calls me, I mean, I think of it like I'm following your instructions, I'm following your lead, and there's some level of leadership there, which you've done amazingly. I mean, I remember being at the Kennedy Center with you, and some of the amazing gigs up in Connecticut. It's always been fun.
Well, the Kennedy Center was really special. I have to
Mhm.
say that, and the fact that Billy Taylor chose us, that hit me more than anything else. I mean, I just idolized Billy Taylor.
Mhm.
And I knew he knew that who I was and whatnot. And he had seen me play at the Jackie Robinson Jazz Festival,
Mhm.
and he was always there, as like the leader of the whole festival.
Right.
But for him to actually invite me to the Kennedy Center was just like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. That was a highlight in my life.
Mine's too, and again, we have to thank our mutual friend Buddy Williams for connecting us.
That
Yes.
is true. That
Mhm.
is very true. And when other musicians are generous and give you people's names and folks that can really play, not just somebody that they're afraid, oh my God, I'm not going to tell her about this guy because
Mhm.
he'll wind up with my gig.
Right.
So let me give let me give this dog of a player that can't really play, and this way I know she'll call me back.
Right.
So most of the people I know, they're going to give you good folks. And
Yeah.
especially if you have to play out of town or out of the country, you always want good people with you. People that are going to really learn your music and read the charts and listen to your music and look at the chart at the same time and you know kind of see how you're interpreting the song.
Right.
So I've been in some wild situations. I was in one in Nashville where none of the band learned my music and they figured they'd just get on stage and sight read it. Oh my goodness. You talk about a crashing of cars
Not
and
even a train wreck. It was like
a total train wreck, total
wow.
train
Yeah.
wreck.
And
And
that's
I
not
just,
fun.
oh, it was awful. And you're hoping that the audience will not understand everything. But I mean, when you're going back to section A and the band is going to letter C or someplace else,
Mhm.
and it's
Oh
like,
yeah. Yeah.
oh my goodness. So
Wow. But you've been at this for a while and you've played with a number of great musicians, I remember. But before we jump into the present and all of the wonderful things you're doing, give us a little bit of your background for our audience.
well, I don't know how far you want to go back, but
As far as you
I've
want to
had
take us.
all right, I'm gonna take you back to
Real brief.
junior high school very briefly, where I wanted to play the drums, since you want to know. That's where my heart was.
Okay.
And they lined us up alphabetically. I was at the end of the line, my name being Winston. And the only thing that was left by the time they got to me, all the boys took the drums and the trumpets and everything, was a flute and a tuba.
Wow.
So I looked at that big tuba and I said, I'm not playing that. Whatever the flute is, I'll take that. So that was divine intervention. That's how I look at that. I was supposed to play the flute,
Hmm.
and I was the worst one in the class. I couldn't get a sound out of it forever, and had a huge ego even as a little kid. So I asked the teacher, "Can I take the flute home and try to get a sound out of the mouthpiece because I'm embarrassed. This is terrible. I'm the worst one in the class." And by the time I did that every day, taking the flute home, I came back, I was the best one in the class.
Wow, look
So
at that.
That's my personality. I just can't stand to be awful, and have people that are better than me doing the same thing, at a young age.
Right.
So that's kind of how I got started. And I had actually played or studied piano before that, probably at 8 years old. And I won't go into that whole story, but me and the piano did not like each other. So I didn't fool with the piano again until I got to Howard University. And then they made me study all the classics, and I had to go before the faculty and like all the students and
Right.
Perform, Bach and all of the little etudes and studies that we had to do to prove that we were proficient. Let me put it that way. And from there, I studied music in high school, Newtown High School in Queens, and wanted to go to a HBCU. I was just tired of the discrimination, not only for music, but stuff that kids care about. I wanted to be a cheerleader, and they were not going to have any Black cheerleaders in my school. So I didn't get to do other extracurricular activities that I wanted to do. And when I got to Howard, I went crazy. I just did everything. So that was a really wonderful experience. And being judged totally on your talent or your ability to study and come back and, pass your tests and what have you. So it was just wonderful seeing all those upper crust Black folks.
And that's great, having that type of musical foundation. So after Howard, I know you were in New York doing your thing and developing yourself and starting your career. What were some of the first performance opportunities that you had?
Well, I lived on the Upper East Side after I left my mom's house, and I was trying to find gigs. That's the hardest thing that you can do is to figure out where are the gigs. So I did a lot of what they call freebies, and I asked people, can I sit in with you? And most of the time they looked at me, I looked like a baby, and they'd say, I don't think so, because I know this girl can't play. So I went up to a place called McKell's after I graduated from Howard.
McKell's,
and I used to, you remember McKell, 96th Street and Columbus Avenue in New York. And everybody that was happening there and Russ Brown's, and I would just go and play free. I mean, I would never do that now, but in the beginning, I was just so happy to be seen and have some place, to go. So I did a number of just things where, I had a chance to perform in front of audiences and learn how to speak to people and do something other than just play your flute up there. You have to entertain people. At least that's how I looked at it. So I guess one thing led to another, and I realized that I really had to be a business person and be, what's the word, kind of focused and disciplined. But the luckiest thing that ever happened to me was I wanted to leave my mom's house, have my own apartment, have my own life. And what I did was go and apply for a job at Warner Communication. So they had me be a receptionist at a number of companies there, Warner Brothers Records. I worked a little while for, oh gosh, I'm going blank now, WEA, Warner Electra, Atlanta. Worked for the Cosmos, which was owned by Warner Communications, and that was a soccer team. So I did a lot of things within that family. I think I mentioned Atlantic Records. So, I was a receptionist for just really about a month and a half. And I started volunteering to do things for some of the executives at these various companies. And they'd say, Sherry, can you lick envelopes and mail out all these envelopes for me? And I said, sure, I'd love to do that. So I'd stay late at night, and I got a reputation as the person that would do anything for everybody. Oh, that's a nice young lady. Go get her to do that for you. She won't fuss or anything. So I did all of that and started to work my way up at Elektra Records.
Okay.
And first I was like a local representative. And when I say representative, I was promoting records nationally. Well, first locally and then regionally and then eventually nationally for the artists that we had at the time. And that went across all genres because Elektra had country western, they had R&B, they had the beginning of jazz fusion artists.
Right.
So, and then whatever I did, I tried to do it, as best as I could and be as disciplined about it. Mm-hmm. So then Clive Davis heard about me and he stole me from Elektra by doubling my salary, which was nice, and giving me a secretary in my own office and all of that. So, I got a reputation as being a good promoter. So from there, I was stolen. Well, for a while, I went and I worked independently and I worked for GRP Records.
Okay.
Larry Rosen and Dave Grusin, which was a great opportunity. But, I was playing on the side all of these times. Mm-hmm. And I remember leaving my office when I worked for Columbia Records. That was the last record company I worked for. And going across the street to the New York Hilton Hotel during my lunch hour and playing a gig, which was like a luncheon, they wanted like a trio or something. So I got my little group together and changed in the bathroom and then ran out there and did my thing and went back to work. Mm-hmm. And I did that kind of stuff for a long time. I'd leave my job and I'd go play small clubs in New York, whoever would have me in my band. And, that just sort of expanded. And I got to the point where I wanted to actually earn a living just performing and not have a 9-to-5 job, because that's a whole nother thing. I mean, there are only so many things you can select. And I remember one of the, I guess, great disappointments was Michael Jackson was part of Columbia's one of their subdivisions. I can't think of the name of the company right now. It's eluding me, but anyway, it was part of Columbia. And he had heard about me. So I got this phone call, at my desk saying that Michael Jackson wanted me to come and play this event for him. And it was going to be like a big party or something. And I was so excited. I had to let my boss know about it. And I can mention his name now because he's no longer on this earth, Ruben Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. And I said, Ruben, I have this great opportunity, to play for Michael Jackson. And, it's this Saturday, so it's not going to interfere with us. And he said, no, you can't go because we're all going to be, I think, in Miami or someplace, the whole company. And you can't do it. I said, well, I could do it that evening and then come, afterwards. I'll fly in and blah, blah, blah. But he wouldn't have it. So that was kind of horrible. Wow. And I think throughout my career, when I was working for record companies, different opportunities would come up and, certain things I couldn't do. But I did start recording then. And I did that on the sly. I would leave my office at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night, which was late, and go into the studio and I'd work on my music with my band. We were working downtown at a studio, and I'd get home 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and get up and go to the gym and then go to work. With record companies, you always start at 10 o'clock, 10 to 6, but it was never 10 to 6. It was always 10 until your boss let you go home, which could be any time, could be 10 or 11 o'clock. And then they want you to go to clubs and support your artists, and be there in the audience for them and take them around and what have you. So it was, I don't know, it was tough. It was tough.
You actually learned the business of the music, which is something a lot of musicians don't really get to. Some do. If they get to the point that they become known but then they hire people to do that. They hire agents, they hire booking agents, managers and stuff. But you on the other side, seeing, like promoting the artists and doing that. there's something to be said about that, because a lot of musicians really don't understand how to promote themselves and how to market themselves, or even how to present themselves as a product. That's one of your strengths. I saw that when I first met you, how you would just be able to work a crowd gracefully, and at the end of the day, have all of this, contacts. It was amazing.
They call it desperation, I had once I bought my condo, I had like a serious note that I had to make every month, and that'll make you like really sharp, believe me. When you don't want to lose your house, so it's like, oh my God.
Right, but you had the tools to do that, because you knew what people were looking for. Like, for instance, on the flip side, if you're an A&R person and an artist come to you and say, hey, here's my new recording, check it out. It's not packaged, it's just a dead drop. But you had the grace to know, like, hey, I need to package this, I need to present it this way. That's something a lot of artists don't know, how to actually work on the inside of the industry. And and that's just a great lesson that it's invaluable. You should share that with a lot of artists, because a lot of people just don't know that, how to do that.
I do a music business seminar, right?
Yes.
And that's how I got to the University of the Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. Not only performing there, but doing a workshop. And I've done that all over the country at a lot of different schools, a lot of HBCUs, but also places like Northwestern University, and also some arts organizations. When I played at the Kennedy Center with you, as a matter of fact, they asked me if I would do a music business seminar for the other entertainers. Mm-hmm. And I was like shocked. I was like so thrilled. It was like, are you serious? You want me to, tell these people how to get gigs? But they all came, and I really wanted to do it, but what was so hard was they wanted me to do this before my performance, like 2 hours before my performance. So I really didn't have time to warm up as an artist, warm up my flute, and get my head straight. I mean, I came out of a business situation with other students telling them, how to find gigs, how to put a band together, how to get a repertory, and then go on stage at the Kennedy Center. Are you serious? I mean, that blew my mind. I had to talk to myself backstage, because, it's two different parts of your brain. One is creative, the other is business.
Right.
And, like even now, I'm at my desk all day, even though I've got a good career and all of that, I still have to get to my desk by 10:30, 11 o'clock at the latest. And I'm here till 5 or 6 o'clock. And then I go and I practice after that. And that's been my routine, basically all of my musical career.
Right.
So you can't stop practicing. You know that as an artist yourself, you got to keep up your skills. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, I have never had an agent. I've never had a manager. Mm-hmm. So tag, you're it. It's like, here, I'm doing everything. And that's a lot of hats. I mean, I would have preferred to have someone that I could trust. But the few people that did try to book me, would call me and offer me something, I always caught them in some kind of lie, financial lie, that they were ripping me off, and they were making more than me and my band put together. We were the ones going out and doing the gigs. And the agent is sitting back, collecting. By the time they worked their I'll call it black magic, they were making 40% of our gig, or sometimes more. And I called a couple of them out on it. I just couldn't help myself, and I said, man, this is crazy. I know what you're doing. You're taking a percentage of the airfare in the hotel. By the time you add that on to your normal 15%, because nobody was taking 10%, they wanted 15%. You're really getting like 40% of the gross. Mm-hmm. So one guy told me, you read too much, and I can call a bunch of other musicians and they'll do it happily. I said, well, you call them. You're not going to be ripping me off. Forget about it.
Yeah. Well, someone says you are an inspiration. So, I mean, but that's what one of the reasons why I was so happy when you agreed to be on the show, because I know our conversation would be different than a lot of the other musicians, because a lot of them have agents and a lot of them just say, hey, whatever it is, I'll deal with it. Whereas you actually understand the business and you do a lot of that yourself. And I just wanted folks to know what it takes, because, folks just really, they just see us on stage and assume that's just what it is. But there's so much that goes on behind the scene to make a gig happen. The negotiation, the airfare, the travel, the hotels, the booking of the and then we still haven't dealt with the music. You still got to call the band, and you have to rehearse, and cats are out of state. So either they're coming in 5 hours before the gig to rehearse and have a studio, or rehearse at the venue. There are a number of moving
And
parts.
you know how tough that is.
I know.
Because there's always some nonsense at the venue.
Yeah.
Boy, I got there. I was opening one time for Pieces of a Dream, which was a dream gig to open for them. And we got there, and the board exploded when we were rehearsing. And it was like, what? So the guy said, we got to go out and get a new board, so they were trying to call everybody they knew. And the board came like about 10 minutes before we were supposed to be on stage. So you can imagine, I mean, your nerves are bad when you're sitting up there, going through that.
Yeah.
And, I've had to play with people out of town that I think you and I were talking about this earlier off screen. Played with people that had not learned my music.
Yeah.
And, when I asked them after the gig, why didn't you guys learn my music? I mean, you guys were sight reading on stage. And when I went back to letter A and to the A section, you guys went to the C section. So there was a big clash there. What happened? And one guy was honest with me, the bass player. He said, well, baby, these people were only giving us $25. I said, what? $25? Are you serious?
Wow.
And the person that, it was like a fundraiser, and I'm not going to mention any names or any of that, or the situation, but it wasn't that the person was keeping the money, but it was a fundraiser for an organization, and they wanted the organization to make the money. So they were trying to be cheap with the musicians that live there. And I said, you can't do that. I'm not putting down plumbers, but these are not plumbers. These people that have to, work to learn the music. They've got to listen to it. They've got to put hours in, and it's going to be a one-off. They're going to play for me for one concert. If I ever come back to this city, which I may or may not, I would use them again or fly them somewhere, maybe,
Right.
But they have no way of knowing that for sure. So they said, the heck with it. We're not going to learn our music. We'll just, fake it on stage. And boy, you know how that goes. When people fake it on stage, you were in big trouble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But, we live and we learn, but you have been one of the, how should I say, the bearers of the torch as far as being a flautist, a female flautist out here. Is not that many of you guys out here and doing what you do, more in the smooth jazz category, and representing yourself and doing that well. And I applaud you for that. And I've always admired you for that. That's why every time you've called, no matter what I had going on, unless it was like I'm in Europe or something, I found a way to make sure that I was on the gig, because not only was it great music performing with you and the musicians that you always hire, but I always learn. I really enjoyed watching you take care of the business, and I learned a lot from that,
I'm so glad to hear that, Dion. Yeah. See that? I didn't know all of that until tonight.
Yeah, and
I'm learning something.
Yeah, and going back to Buddy, because at that time I was doing a lot of things, for Buddy, and Buddy was super busy, and he would send me on gigs, and he would say, hey man, go take care of Sherry. He's like, when Sherry calls, take care of it. If I can't do it, take care of Sherry. That's our girl. Take care of Sherry. And that's Buddy's like, that's our sister.
Makes me feel so good.
So for me, that's how I did. That was the message from Buddy. Anytime he called me, he was like, go take care of this person. I got your back. Go take care of this person. And I ended up in a lot of scenes because of that. But some of them, like you, turned into like something of longevity, which actually worked out good, because like you, I was always curious about the business, because I wanted to know, what happened behind the scene, because then I could be more prepared and know what's happening. And a lot of musicians don't want to know that. They just want to show up and do the gig. But
That's true.
yeah.
Well, you know what always surprises me? That most sidemen don't start their own bands and do their own thing. Very few do. You know, they sit around waiting for you to call.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I do my music business seminar, I say, for you musicians out there, call leaders and say, hey, Sherry, how you doing? You know, hey, girl, what's happening? You know, are you feeling well? You know, how's your mom doing, or your dad, if they know if they're alive or not, which of course they're not anymore, but at the time they were. Or, I mean, just say, I just call to say hello and you know, see what you're up to these days. And it's not, hey, Sherry, do you have a gig for me?
Right.
But how are you as a human being?
Right.
You know, and of course, I'm going to remember that person when I get ready to book a gig. Why don't I call so-and-so, you know, the guitarist or keyboard player or whatever? Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to hire somebody that's bad. But if you're good, you're just going to remind me,
Right.
hey, I'm still over here.
Right,
you
right,
know?
right.
And I mean, that's how I get my clients. I'm calling people all day long, and I'm not saying, hey, Dion, how you doing? Where's the gig?
Right.
I'm saying, hey, Dion, you know, what's happening in your life? As a matter of fact, we're doing this this interview now because I just happened to call you to see how you're doing. Right? I mean, that was the weirdest thing. I had no idea you were doing this podcast or any of this. And as a matter of fact, I was calling David, who was the person in your position before you, and then I found out he was no longer there in that spot. And then when I found out Dion Parson, I said, that can't be two Dion Parsons. Only one Dion Parson. What? Dion has got that gig now? That's wild.
I got that gig. Yes. It's wild, small world.
Well, you know, to me, it's God's hand. Just we were supposed to be back together.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, it's full circle, and it's beautiful. And it reminds me again, like when we talk, I just, you know, I'll go back and I'll do my research and pull up some YouTube clips and just go and reminisce. And I say, yeah, this is gonna be fun. And I remember, you know, making those trips up to Connecticut to perform with you and learning your music. But this was before we had the YouTubes and all of that. So we had the cassette tapes, and we was trying to do stuff. Oh,
and you learned the music. You weren't playing around.
I had no choice. You know.
No, you had a choice. You could have been sitting back there. A lot of drummers just get on and then they try to, you know, they don't know where the hits are and they don't know how to lift you up, and they're playing too loud, and I gotta turn around and say, bring it down.
Yeah.
You
know? I wasn't taught that way though. I was always taught that you know, take care of the musicians, take care of the music, and the music will take care of you. You know, whether you're playing Carnegie Hall or you're playing in Joe's Pub, think Carnegie Hall for all gigs and show up prepared.
Exactly. Or playing in somebody's house.
Yeah, show up people.
I've played in people's homes.
Yeah, which I've done many, many times. I remember being on tour with Monty Alexander. We pull up to somebody's house, and Monty said, oh, by the way, this is where the gig is at. And we got our suits, we're clean. We get there, it's about 20 people, dinner table, we have dinner, and then we do a 2-hour concert in the living room, and it's one of the, you know, some of the best gigs. I mean, listening parties, that's what they kind of called it. But you know, and a lot of those things don't exist anymore. But I'm saying all that to say that it was always a beautiful time working with you.
Well, thank you, Dion. I wish I would have known all of that when we were working together.
Well, you know. You know,
I know we were all coming up and trying to, you know, be all of that, you know, when we weren't all of that.
Right,
we were trying to be, we had our sights on where we wanted to go, but we weren't there yet, you know. We were on our way, let me put it that way.
Yes. And speaking of on our way, you know, you have shared with us some amazing music, and you know, we can talk forever and ever. And there's so much that I know I want to have you back because I really want to get into the business of music stuff. I really think it's something that our audience can benefit from. So we'll talk about that offline. But you share some music.
You have to bring me to the University of the Virgin Islands so I can share that with your students. You know,
we'll talk about all of that also.
This way I can get my feet in the sand.
There you go. And there's a lot of sand down there as well.
I know.
The university is on a beach, so
I've been there. I know you're in a beautiful spot. You really are.
Oh, yes, yes. But I want to share some of your music that you have graciously sent to us. And somebody saying it's really good seeing you, Sherry. So your fans are starting to
and I want to say hello to Colette and also to Cheryl. Cheryl is a fabulous opera singer. So I'm glad to see that she's checking this out.
Great, great. So the first song you shared with us is a song entitled Mr. D's Funky Suite. Tell us about that real quick.
That's an ex of mine, a guy that I was in love with. And when I fall in love with somebody, I have to write a song for them. So this was kind of a tongue-in-cheek kind of thing. And as a matter of fact, he is actually on this cut rapping in French.
Oh, okay.
Because he spoke French. I mean, not well, but enough. He worked for Disney in Europe. So a bad brother.
Okay. All right.
So it was named for him. And, we had fun with the song. Let me put it that way. And when we played on stage now, we have a ball because I just talk about him like a dog. I really do. And I get all the ladies waving their hands and acting crazy. Come on, ladies, let's do it. All right. Get up. If somebody did you wrong, raise your hand and, all of that. So we have a good time.
All right. Well, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to just sit back and listen to the song. Let's check this out. Mr. D's Funky Suite.
Je suis fou de toi, complètement fou de toi, et pour toujours, voilà ce que tu me fais. Tu sais que je t'aime de la manière dont tu ressens les choses. C'est toi que j'adore pour toujours. Je suis fou de toi. Voilà ce que tu me fais. more. That's what you do to me. I dream about you, I scheme about you, my honey love. That's what you do for me.
That's Mr. D's Funky Sweet. I could hear that. You're muted, Sherry. You're muted. Oh, we can't hear you. You have your mic on. We can't hear you now. I did. Wow, all of a sudden you disappeared. We lost your voice. So you're not muted, huh? No? Okay, well, maybe a technical difficulty we're having here. But, okay, while we work that out, I think your mic is muted, Sherry. Did you touch something? On the screen, look on the screen, on the bottom of the screen, you see the mic on the bottom to the left, the mic icon. Is there X to it? A line through it? No? Can you command, see if we can... No? Okay, we're gonna this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna jump into the next song, Love and Marriage, and while we do that, can you come back on and see if I can reboot? Yeah. Look in the comment and see if you can come back on, log out and log back in, see if we can, that might help to solve that. Something happened with your mic. But in the meantime, you're doing that, we're going to play Love and Marriage. Yeah, just come back on, yeah. We're sorry about this, folks. A little technical difficulty, the voice disappeared, but we're going to bring Sherry back on. But in the meantime, let's check out Love and Marriage. All right, that was Love and Marriage by Sherry Winston. You're back.
I'm back. You can hear me?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I felt like,
Technical difficulties, things happen, but we resolved it, and
you knew what you were doing, so.
So Down, Love the Groove, incredible arrangement, background vocals, and solo arrangement. Love the flute as lead instrument. We don't hear enough of it in jazz. I agree.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Where can I get your music? We'll talk about that coming up soon, but what a great evening. Thank you, Sherry and Dion. Yeah, all right.
Wow, so, I'm glad that these folks are letting us know that they're on.
Yeah.
Who was on and who wasn't on. Thank you, everybody.
I know we're talking about the music and stuff right now, but somebody sent a comment while you were off saying don't forget about your cookbook. I want to get to that. So before we at the end, let's get through this music so we could kind of plug that as well. But the next,
can I just give my email address where people can contact
we'll do all of that at the end, at the very end. We'll have time to share all of that, and you can give all that information out. But I just want to jump right into this next song, which I enjoyed. Once you sent this, you prepared it, and you sent this for us. This is You with Stevie Wonder. This was a really nice presentation. Pastime Paradise.
And my girl out of Chicago, Pam Rice, did all the photos for me. I sent her the photos, and she was able to match it with the MP3 file. So God bless you, Miss Pam Rice, the sister.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's check this out. Pastime Paradise, Sherry Winston and Stevie Wonder.
Sherry Winston, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Sherry Winston. Sherry Winston, Stevie Wonder.
That was Sherry Winston and Stevie Wonder.
You see, I have a big smile on my face, right? I still can't believe I got to play with Stevie Wonder. Oh my God.
What year was that?
I don't know. It's more than 10 years ago. I can tell you that.
Because when I was playing with you, we were playing Pastime Paradise. We was playing that back in
right. I had recorded it.
Yeah.
It's on one of my CDs. And that was totally unexpected. I was supposed to be, I was playing for Hal Jackson's 97th birthday party. I was invited by his wife at the time, Debbie Jackson. I don't know if you remember Debbie, but anyway, it was just an unbelievable time. And she didn't know for sure whether Stevie was going to come or not, but Hal was one of the first people to play little Stevie Wonder when he was a kid. And Stevie remembered that. And when he heard that Debbie was giving him a 97th birthday party, he showed up.
Wow.
And Debbie had just told me to go on stage because we kept waiting for him. And after a while, we sort of gave up. And she said, well, I guess he's not going to, be able to come. And when he walked in that door, my heart just exploded. And I had a big conversation with God. I said, God, please bless me. Do not let me mess this song up playing Stevie's and get a bad note or forget the melody. I mean, I was like in shock. I was just, going by rote just from playing the song so much.
That was great. It's so good to see that, and because I know, again, over the years of working with you playing that song, you've done that for so many years. You could do that in your sleep.
I was sleeping in. Believe me, I was like in total shock. So,
that was great.
That's what our teachers at professors at Howard told us. Keep playing stuff over and over and over and over and over, because when you get nervous and scared, if it's in your fingers, it'll come out. If you haven't it enough, you're gonna mess it up because those nerves will get to you. And I even remembered the Kennedy Center, boy. I got up on that stage and I was like, oh my God, you look out and you see that audience and You know, it just shakes you up and you're just going on instinct. I mean, you
Well, the
know that.
audience can't tell. They saying you rock, girl. You make us feel and believe. It's. So all the comments are opposite of what you're saying. So
No, this is wonderful. Thank you, everybody. This is great.
great
This is
compositions, great evening, great music, great conversation. Thank you, Sherry. I mean, this has been wonderful, man. So before we let you go, we have one more song, and then we got to share your contacts with the audience. But we have one more song for you. This is entitled "For Your Love." Let's check this out.
I saw you, I felt love from the start. You stole my heart and I can't resist you. So I love you more each day in my own special way. For your love I'd give all that I have. My love, that's how much you mean to me. More than you know, my love. Can't you see you're all I need? You blew my mind on the day I met you. You blow my mind all the time. You're like a breeze on a Sunday morning. Yeah. How you take my breath away. I love you more each day. With your love for me, I can be so much more. Kiss me, love, don't ever go. Make sweet love with me, just hold me tight. My love, you are my all, my everything. Lie with me, I'll give you the world. Stay with me forever, your girl. Let's make love, I'll do it just right. Stay with me forever, my wife. For your love, I'd give all that I have, my love. Kiss me, love, don't ever go. Make sweet love with me, just hold me tight. You're my everything. With your love, I can be so much more. Don't ever go. Make sweet love with me, just hold me tight. My love, you're my everything. For your love.
And that was "For Your Love," Sherry Winston.
And
Who's
that was Laurie Williams and Timmy Meyer singing.
Timmy?
You
Yeah,
know Timmy?
I remember Timmy. Yeah, from
Okay.
Connecticut. Yeah,
Yeah. And Laurie's from Washington, D.C. Unbelievable singers.
right. It's been a minute. Yeah, great. Well, Sherry, that time is not our friend right now, but it's been such a pleasure catching up with you. I'm really
Well,
enjoying this.
thank you so much, Dion, for introducing me to your personal audience and your fans. And it means so much to connect with you again and to hear the wonderful comments that people have left. It's really
Yes.
fantastic.
Definitely,
It makes
definitely.
all the practice worthwhile, you know,
There
when
you
people
go.
love your music. It really makes it worthwhile.
That's what
And
it's about.
sometimes it's tough.
Yeah, I know.
You
That's
don't
why
always feel like practicing, I'll tell you.
I know. I know. I know definitely. But that's why we build this platform, just so we can share with our audience, what it is that we do. A lot of folks really don't know. So that's really kind of how this came about. Like, let's connect our, diaspora with the world. Let's share
Well,
it.
you're doing a wonderful, wonderful thing. You really are. God bless you, my brother. And God bless Mel for making this available to all of us.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But before you leave, your cookbook, your website, your email, your downloads, all the good stuff. Share with us all that.
Okay. My email address is, as you can see, how to spell Sherry Winston, Sherry Winston Band, BAND, @gmail.com. Sherry Winston Band @gmail.com. My website, very easy, sherrywinston.com. And you guys can email me anytime. And what I can do is give you my number at my office, and you can call me, and we can get whatever you want, whether it's a cookbook. And we didn't talk much about that. But anyway, it's a fabulous, fabulous cookbook. It's an erotic cookbook with all kinds of goodies in there, aphrodisiacs and stories about what to do with your lover, all kinds of naughty things. And it's got a CD in the back of it for those of you that might have a CD player. So just write me and I'll give you my number, and then we can do it on the square and I can mail it right out to you. That's the easiest way to do it. If you go to my website, it gets convoluted. You can go there, sherrywinston.com, and you have to go through PayPal, and some people have had problems with that. So I would just say deal directly with me, and we'll cut out the middleman and a whole bunch of nonsense. That's how I like to do business.
Mm-hmm. Great. Great. Well, Sherry, again, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been great reconnecting with you, and you look wonderful, and it's just been a pleasure having you on the show, man. So much fun.
Well, Dion, you're going to keep me up for hours, and I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because I'm just so revved up and hearing the music, and it's just like I'm back in it, I'm playing all the songs, and I'm ready to pick up my flute and just play. I'm telling you, I just got revived tonight. So thank you, fans out there, fans of Dion and new fans of mine. Now, bless all of you. Keep the music happening.
Definitely. Thanks again. All the best and continued success, Sherry. That's the great Sherry Winston. It's been a while since I've seen her. It's been so good catching up with her. So yeah, we had a great show tonight. But I would love to invite you guys back and join us next week as we bring two Sounds of Diaspora, another good friend of mine, wonderful and talented, amazing Corcoran Holt, bass player from Washington, D.C. And we'll share his music and his story with you as well. So come back and join us next week. Share this information with your friends, and hope to see you again on Sounds of the Diaspora. Take care. Have a good night.